Trying to work the sloppiness out this morning. How's everybody feeling this morning? Yeah, minor pentatonic, yeah. Let's see here. We got the directress. Good morning from Champagne. Sounding mighty good, working on sounding like that. Yes, sir, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I don't know if you're going to sound like this. I'm sounding sloppy this morning. Corey, man. Good morning to everybody that's joining me. Good morning, good morning. Hopefully everybody is well. Yeah, like I said, working through getting the sloppiness out. Of course, pentatonic stuff works great over anything like that. That's not all we're limited to, but yeah, it's just a go-to for that kind of stuff. So I put up a backing track just yesterday, something that I created in a few lives ago. We want to go all the way back to last year, but hopefully that you guys, directionist, okay, good morning to you, Miss Directionist. So, we want to check out that backing track that I put up just on yesterday. Got a nice little vibe to it. Let me see if I can play it here. I think it'd be something fun for you guys to groove to. If you're looking for something real soulful, yeah, it got a nice little. Come on here. Let's get these kinks out. So that's in the key of G major. I know some people kind of get confused about that. I had some students of mine, they hear songs that start, feels like it's on a different vibe because it's not starting on the one per se. They think it's in the minor key because it's starting on it. It starts on a minor chord. That doesn't necessarily mean it's in a minor key, and this is not a bass lesson, by the way. It's just, we're just talking. But yeah, it starts on the 2. A lot of times you have songs, they're still in a major key. They might just start out on a minor and it stays there for a while, but it's still, you're still in a major key. So like, you have to really kind of pay attention to what's going on in the full track instead of just listening to the first chord. Just hear everything fully through, you know? All right, so let's see here. Got some more people that's joined us this morning. Nathan, good morning to you. Who else I missed? I miss you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Kelvin, good morning to you, man. Thank you. Tiffany, good morning. Larry, got you. Andre, good morning to everybody, man. Hopefully all of you guys are well this morning. But yeah, so again, I uploaded that on yesterday. And yeah, just something fun for you to jam out to. You can, you know, play around with any type of phrase in G major. I ain't gonna tell you what to play. You can play around with it. It's in the key of G major. Just have a lot of fun with it. Tim, good morning to you. Everybody that's joining in. And for the people who've already gave this video a thumbs up without me asking, thank y'all so much. I really, really appreciate y'all. Hopefully your February is off to a great start. Mine is, just because I'm still here. Everett, good morning, man. Hopefully all is well. We'll play a little bit more while everybody joins in. David, I see you. Good morning to you. Everybody else who's joining, I'm speaking. I see you. Yeah, we'll play a little bit more and we'll talk a little bit, y'all. Welcome to everybody that's joining us this morning. All right, so let's go back here. Thank you, Larry, for that. Just playing around, knocking the dust off. It's still early. All right, so I do this to force myself to get out of my own headspace. I'm getting to answering one of the questions about improvisation. I'll read that question, but in doing this, I force myself out of my own headspace, and I force myself to do a couple of things. Pay attention to what it is I'm playing, and get comfortable with being uncomfortable, if that makes any sense. I'm a composer. I love to write music. I love to compose. I love to produce, that kind of thing. So oftentimes I can compose a really, really great solo in my own mind and, even putting it down. But oftentimes, with so much information, like anybody, with muscle memory, you kind of go back to the things you most commonly hear, and you can often do that in the improvising if you're not careful, because there's a lot of information here, but sometimes it's harder to access that information under pressure. So constantly putting yourself in a position where you place yourself under pressure forces you to start accessing that other information, other stuff that you've been practicing, because you're trying to put it to use. You're trying to find it. Your brain is trying to search. All right, what else can I do? What else can I find? What else works here? And not only that from a technical standpoint, but musically you're growing, you're maturing, and all that kind of stuff. So being able to speak to the level that you've grown instead of speaking at a third grade level in terms of playing. If you've grown beyond third grade, now you're in fourth grade, well, there should be some things that you learn from third grade that carried over to fourth grade, and so on to the next grade, things that you're pulling in your conversation, because you're trying to have a musical conversation. You're trying to express certain thoughts. That doesn't mean everything has to be very eloquent, but you should be able at some point to access those things that you've learned. It's not sitting here learning a whole bunch of theory, learning a whole bunch of stuff, doing all these lessons, doing all this practice, and not ever be able to say anything worth anything, if that makes any sense. So let me get to a question that I'm being asked. When improvising, what are the scale approach you use to or do you just touch any notes? Because I discover when I'm playing, most of my notes sound like major, and I really don't like it. I see what you're saying. So you're saying a lot of your scale. You sound like you playing scales when you're soloing, if I'm understanding correctly. And I see what you're saying with that. That can be a tendency, especially if you're always practicing scales and that kind of thing. The good thing about it is you learn your skills and you become really. Thank you, Abu Dhabi. Who is that? Sobin, thank you for watching this morning. The problem is with practicing scales all the time is sometimes your playing can sound just like scales, and if that's not the thing you're going for, yeah, that can be a problem. It's not a problem if that's what you're going for, if you're working to get really, really good at scales. But I think one of the things that kind of helped me, even on top of what I was just saying there, is when improvising, trying to sing as opposed to be technical. To answer your first part of your question, I don't automatically start thinking scales when I'm playing. Who is that said something? I don't want to miss that. Good morning, Derek. Good morning to you. Larry, I don't automatically start thinking scales when I'm trying to improvise. As a matter of fact, when I start thinking, it's for me to be aware of what I'm playing so I can not do that. I'm like, okay, you played that enough. You played that idea too many times. Don't do that. Don't do that. And to be honest, I think I do more of that when I know people are watching. When I'm practicing or when I'm just kind of in the zone, so to speak, I'm not thinking about anything concerning theory, to be completely honest. I'm not one of those people who are sitting analyzing, okay, I know I'm playing this chord, I know I'm playing that chord, and I know all these different things will work over each chord. I'm not that guy that's thinking that. When I'm in the moment, especially when I told you guys earlier, I'm a composer, especially when I'm writing and composing music, I'm definitely not thinking about what chords will work, what scales will work. My only concern is what sounds good. What sounds good right here? What fits here? And beyond what sounds good, what is the purest form of what I'm trying to say musically? How can I really express this in a way that people feel what it is I'm trying to say? They feel it, not necessarily just hear it, because I don't make music for theory buffs or technical people. I don't make music for them. I hope they appreciate it, but I'm not making music trying to target people who are very, very advanced in theory. Now, again, that doesn't mean I'm dumb in everything that I'm playing down. It just means it's not my concern about the theory behind what I'm doing in my playing, because I'm just trying to express what I have to say. My suggestion to you, because obviously you're still trying to learn how to better improvise, my suggestion to you is try singing. Is what I tell everybody. Try singing. Or if your singing is no good at all, you have zero singing ability, try mimicking solos or just music that you hear vocalists doing. Because when people are singing, it's for me, it seems a little bit more like in general, like if you're trying to be more soulful, people that sing soul music, people that sing gospel music, quartet or whatever the case may be, that vocal has a flow to it and that doesn't feel really mechanical like a scale would feel. Most people when they sing, they go. Like singing is so natural, it's rarely forced into a theory box, unless it's like school related or unless it's like very I don't want to say classical because I don't want to offend anybody, because there's some classical music that flows really well as well, and it can be very, very melodic, and it doesn't sound like scale. So I'm not going to dare say that. But like even transcribing jazz solos, that kind of thing. One of the biggest things I think to sum all of this up is you have to develop the language. You have to really develop the language beyond the scales. You have to develop the language, and how you develop the language is listening to people who've already done it, people who already spoke that language before, people who've been holding great conversations, very in-depth conversations and you like what they say musically, I'm speaking. You like what they say and you're listening to it and like seeing how much of what they said you can grab and apply to your own language. Scale shows you the outline of where to go, what they're playing. This is what these notes are. This is the order that these notes fall into, and this is how this is grouped together, all that kind of stuff. Scales kind of outline that kind of stuff. But to become more melodic, I think you have to listen to the people who say it best, in my opinion. And so once you kind of start doing that and you get that language in your head, you compare that with your own, your own information, your own life experiences. When I play, I don't care what I play, it's going to have some type of I notice people mention certain things about me playing pentatonic a lot, and I'm okay with that now because I understand that's like a southern thing from the way I was raised and the music that I grew. Not saying that I limit myself to that, but it's like one of those things you kind of naturally go back to. I've been to college and all that kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, when I get to talking to my family or people that I'm really, really comfortable with, you hear my countryness come out, my southernness, my accent comes out really, really strong. If you're ever around me and I'm talking to people that I'm really, really comfortable with, even in these lives sometimes, I get really, really comfortable, you hear that southern accent come out because that's the deepest part of who I am in terms of that part of where you come from. So you add all of those things, all of those elements, because that's you being 100% true to who you are. Me trying to sound like I'm from up north is not going to work because at some point it's going to come across as fake. You know what I'm saying? At some point it's going to come across as like, man, you trying to sound like this or you trying to be like that, and it's not going to sound authentic to you guys. But when I talk in a certain way, it doesn't mean I can't sound educated. It doesn't mean I can't sound like an intellectual. But it's going to have a little slang on it. It's going to have a little thing that comes across with it because I'm being 100% who I am. Now, in that we grow and we add. That's the beautiful thing about learning and growing. We add to that thing that we already have. And it all becomes a part of your voice, a part of your language and that kind of thing. The way you present, the way that you say what it is you need to say, it all becomes a part of you because all of that you don't stop. Sorry about that. Got a call coming in. You don't stop once you get to the point. You don't stop once you are like in first, second grade. You keep going. You keep adding to that. What you learn when your parents and people around you initially teach you to speak, you don't stop with what they taught you. You go to first grade, you learn some more stuff. You're going through vocabulary words all the way throughout college. So you're constantly learning and advancing in language. But that core foundation of who you are, that core foundation of what you've learned remains there. It remains there the entire time. So you have to make sure you incorporate all of that stuff. But what musicians, we have the tendency to do, most of us, I'm not going to say all of us, once we start getting a little schooling, a little education, a few scales, that kind of thing, Jonathan and everybody else, good morning to you. Who is that? And I see your other questions that's coming in, and thank you guys for that. So, once you get that information, you apply that information. You don't throw away the old stuff, though. Keep everything. Keep it all. Now, if it's something that's detrimental to you and it doesn't work for a particular environment, maybe you can't incorporate that as much, but don't try to conform to something that you're not. That's the whole point. So when it comes to improvisation, you might not sound like Charlie Parker. You might not sound like this person or that person, but you can sound like you and have something valuable to add to the musical conversation when you're completely honest about who you are. So that's my take on that. Be honest. Be honest about who you are. Keep growing, keep learning, and apply it all. Don't just limit it to a couple of scales and that kind of thing. Apply it all. No problem, Larry. That's what it's about, man. Floppy says, quick question. How do you keep your bass maintained? You keep the fretboard clean, etc. I clean this bass. When I change the strings, I'm generally cleaning the bass. One of the things you can use is let me see if I got something close on hand. If not, I gotta dig down here and find it. But steel wool. Steel wool is what you can use. Floppy, to clean the fretboard, I was trying to find a little a pad that I had, but I got to dig in my little crate over there, and I don't feel like going through it. But steel wool, you can find it at like Walmart or something like that if you have a Walmart near you or something like that. Just steel wool. It doesn't have to be rough. Be a light grade of steel wool that you can take. And when you clean your instrument, when you take the strings off, you can go across the fretboard and scrub it with that steel wool, and that gets all that green stuff some of y'all got in your frets. To get all that stuff out of there. Just steel wool, and you hit that real good. And I take oil. This is a natural finish instrument, and I take oil. Warrior had some oil that they were using, like tung oil, I think TUNG. They were using it called. They have a brand called Anointed Oil. So I rub the bass down with oil, the fretboard, all of the bass, make sure there's oil and let the wood soak in. Let the oil soak into the wood, that kind of thing. And I go back over it with a cloth, a light cloth, and just wipe it back off. And so that's how this bass, even with my war wounds that's on here, that's how it still kind of keeps that slightly new look to it. And this bass is like 10 years old. But yeah, that's some of the things that I do when it comes to this. Is steel wool is the main thing. I see I'm gonna have to hit mine. I don't do it every time, just kind of do it as needed. But I see I need to hit it now because I'm starting to get a little. I've been playing a lot, so I need to hit it. So anyway, that's a little cleaning tip that you can do, Floppy. So all right, thank you for that, Zwala. Telling smash the like. I definitely appreciate that. And so getting into our topic today. Do you really know what you need? Do you really know what you need? I asked this question. I have a lot of students with JermaineMorgan.net, and some students that I'm coaching and mentoring one-on-one, and with the bass lessons, that kind of thing. And a lot of time, I'm not gonna say a lot of times, because I don't really deal with this with a lot of my students one-on-one, but sometimes people that are new to me or people that are new to videos. Bruce, good morning to you. You get questions or you get suggestions from people who are new to the instrument that try to tell you how you should teach. And it's not completely what this is about, but I'm just making an example with this. It's so funny about people who are telling you, who haven't necessarily grown past a certain point, but they're sure that everyone else is teaching or giving them the information wrong, and that's why they're not learning. I know what I need in a sense, but sometimes it's good to have someone who's walked a path that I haven't walked on, even though I'm sure of me to a certain degree. I think I'm sure of me. Hopefully you guys get why I'm going. I don't lose anybody with this. I think I know, so I'm going to tell you what's the best way to help me. Sometimes that doesn't work. I was talking to a good friend of mine on yesterday, and we were talking about the fact that I feel like my wife really helped to level me out as a creative, because that creative genius term that I've talked about several times. Matter of fact, about a month ago, I talked about unlocking your genius. And I know all of us have some level of genius, but a lot of times what can come with that level of genius, when you have an extremely high level of gifting or talent, it can be chaotic. It can be really chaotic if it's not balanced and if it's not in control. And you can be all over the place as a creative, as a genius, and not really be as successful as you could be because it's chaotic. It's all over. You're still good. We didn't take nothing away from that. You're very good, but it can be very chaotic because you're all over the place. I think my wife helped me to level out because she was very structured. I was very just go with the flow, whatever happens, let's do it. And, just as a natural creative, we go, we just go with whatever the newest idea is, we own it. And I'm still like that now, but my wife helped me to 20 years almost. This year will be 20 years. not married, but just together all all the way. And she helped me to bring structure into my life in terms of getting more structured, getting more detailed about what it is I was trying to do, setting goals and that kind of thing, or having you guys might see my mess over here where I got planners and got things written down, all that kind of stuff. This was never me, but she helped me in that area to get more organized, to help have some form of order, because as well as I thought I knew myself, I didn't really know what I needed. If this is making any sense to anybody. Sometimes you're asking, and I'm going back to what the whole students and everything, they're telling me we need this or we need that, and you need to add this, and you need to add that. Well, you need to do this, you need to do that. Well, coming from a person who's been where you're trying to go, let me save you some time. Granted, everybody doesn't learn the same, but you should be aware that when people are giving you something, you can, what's the famous commercial? You can learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt, right? You can learn from a person who's messed up what not to do. You see what I'm saying? So there's something to learn from almost everybody that you come in contact with. Now, if it's a person who's excelled in something that you're trying to do, the best thing is to sit back and see how much you can gain. Now, when I talk to people, especially people I consider valuable, or people I consider that information that they have is invaluable, I know I could never pay them for the information. One of the things I like to do now is I pull out my, my little black book here. This thing probably cost me $2-3 at Walmart. I pull out my notebook or my phone and I start taking notes when they're talking. When they're saying things that I feel like could be really valuable to me, I'm taking notes. And I'll tell them so they don't think I'm texting, like, look, I'm writing notes while you're talking, so don't think I'm on my phone texting while you're saying something to me. I feel like what you have to say is really, really valuable. So I am taking notes because I want to improve overall, because I realize as much as I've learned, as much as I've grown in my self-development, all that kind of stuff, I realize it's a lot about me that I don't know. It's a lot about where I want to go that I don't understand. So rather than me giving you my opinion of what I think you should do, how about I glean from some of the things that you're saying and see what can be applied? It's a simple principle that I learned years ago. There's this old saying, you take the meat and you spit out the bones. Sometimes it's not necessary for you to always tell people what you think. It's not. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's good for you to take in and spit out what don't work for you. Because there might be something in what they're saying you actually need to apply, but you're so busy trying to make sure you're getting everybody straight that you don't apply the necessary things that was for you in what they said. Man, he should slow down. He should give us tab. He should do this. He should do that. It's like, what can you take away from this? If he doesn't change anything, will you be any better? If he or she doesn't change anything, will you be any better? And can you grab? Most of the people that I've learned from growing up, I never had a conversation with them. Just let that settle for a minute. Most of the people that I pull the most from, I wasn't able to sit down with them and ask them, why did you do this? Or how did you do that? Some of the people are dead, even that I'm learning from to this day. And I don't get to give my opinion about what it is they're saying. It's just I take it, and what can be applied to me, I apply it. And what doesn't apply to me, I keep it moving. I think we can kind of get caught up in that thing of wanting to let everybody know how smart we are. And so I need to show you how you can better show me. Like that doesn't, the logic of that doesn't even really make sense. I know that you're doing this and you're doing that and you might be a professional, but let me show you how you can better do that. And granted, everybody can improve, but don't get me wrong. I know even with educators and teachers, we've seen that with our kids. Some things can be improved, but maybe it's something to be learned even from their flaws. Because if I learn from them and just take it all, spit out what I don't need, I'm also learning, okay, if I ever decide to teach, I probably won't do it that way because it has the tendency to do this and that. Everything, every now and again, it's good to give people stuff because some people are unaware that they're doing things wrong. So a lot of my feedback that I get, even from my lessons and things like that, I'm grateful for it. Some of it is like, you could have kept that. I'm just being honest. Some of it, a great majority of it, I'm really grateful for the feedback because I don't know. I'm not in that position anymore. And so a lot of times I don't know that this might have been a struggle. But what also helps me with that is being able to go one-on-one and see what some students are struggling with. Because sometimes what people tell you is completely different from what they're actually doing. I have some students that, thank you for that, Andrew. I have some students every now and again, they might talk about all these different things they're doing, all these different things that they're working on, and I hear them playing or I hear them doing what they're doing. I'm like, yeah, your explanation was really great, and what you tell me you need is really awesome. But once I'm, from the professional standpoint, looking at you and analyzing what you got going on, what you're talking about and what you're doing is two completely different things. You see what I'm saying? Now, from my professional eyes looking at it, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that it's wrong, but what you're telling me you need is way off from what you need to be doing. Because you're saying you need this and you need that, and you saying it and it sounds really, really good, and it's something, oh man, I didn't even consider that. But when I get an opportunity to sit down with you and listen and hear it, it's like, nah, that ain't what you need at all. You need to practice. That's what you need. You need to sit down and practice. You're not practicing, and that's obvious. You don't need to add any more to what you have. You need to work on what you already have and maximize the potential of what you have. So that's why it's good to have people in your corner who will be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? It's good to have people. Some of you guys, you have mentors. You have virtual mentors. You have people that you look up to that you personally know. Some of you in your church or something like that, a music director or just a family member. Somebody that looks at you and they'll tell you the truth. Like, nah, that sounded a mess. You need to go practice. And it's good to have people like, don't push all those people away who rub you the wrong way. Because it's a saying in scripture that iron sharpens iron. But there can be no iron sharpening iron without any friction. People say that, and I see that term so much, it sometimes get annoying when I see it, because most of the people saying it, they don't mean it in the context of what it really is. You're saying iron sharpens iron, but there has to be friction. That means somebody gonna rub you the wrong way for your iron to get sharpened. When you see iron sharpening iron, especially the representation you see for them in the movies and all that kind of stuff, there's sparks flying. It's some friction happening there. So we got some iron being sharpened, but there's some things that's being rubbed the wrong way. I got to go in the opposite direction that you wanted to go in order to sharpen you. Vice versa. There's some things you're going to say to me that's going to rub me the wrong way, but from that, I start to grow. Discipline, even as a parent, being able to discipline my kids. Me sharpening them, I'm saying some things to them maybe they don't care too much for. Or if I got to chastise them for something that they did wrong, they don't want to hear that. If I tell my daughter that the stove is hot and I pop her for it or something like that, or I discipline her in some type of way for it, she ain't trying to hear that. She don't want to feel that. Like, wait a minute. That ain't what I wanted. You could have just told me, no, I told you 3-4 times ago and you're still trying to touch it. So now I gotta get a little bit more aggressive with you in order for you to know, no, don't do that. Or else the last thing is going to be you're going to bump your head and do it your way and touch it and burn your hand. Now you have a scar that you didn't have to have. So what I try to do even in lessons is I try to save people from touching the stove. I'm giving you what you need, but you don't know that this is what you need because you haven't got to that point in your career or in your playing or whatever to understand, like, oh, I didn't have to do that. Oh, I didn't have to go that way. Oh, I didn't have to. Oh, I could have waited. You see what I'm saying? So oftentimes we think we know, but we're really not fully aware. So sometimes it causes you to humble yourself. I know a lot of us, especially when we've studied, man, some musicians, not everybody, this ain't for you, so you can tune out while I'm talking. But some of y'all, when y'all learn a little bit of theory, oh man, you can't tell y'all nothing. I mean, when you that's That's a Neapolitan 6 chord with a raised 7 and a sharp 5 and all. I mean, all this stuff, you just know it because you've studied and all this kind of stuff. But my thing is, when we plug up and play, and when we start this song off, what are you gonna sound like? You know what everything we're playing. You know all of the nuances, everything that's happening. You can name it all. Oh, he's playing major pentatonic. He's playing minor pentatonic. He's doing this. He's doing that. But when we start this song, can you be musical? Can you be musical? I don't care about your theory. Once this song starts, do you know what to play? Does it sound good? You know what I'm saying? Ms. Parker, how's it going? How are you doing? Amazing advice. Thank you. I appreciate that. And he said, if a number of us are honest with ourselves, we need to spend time to practice. We all need to spend time to practice, myself included. But I get it, man. Life happens. Life happens to all of us. And we have things that come up that we don't necessarily plan for. But that's why it's good to prioritize. Because there's a lot more that we can get done in those 24 hours. Stedman, man, good morning to you. There's a lot more that we can get done in these 24 hours that we're not fully accessing because we most of the time make excuses. We staying up too late, sleeping in too late, that kind of thing. If you know you work a 9 to 5 and you're really trying to do this music thing, you're really trying to get some things done, but you work a regular job, nothing wrong with that at all. But if you're working a 9 to 5, well, you're going to have to grind a little bit harder, especially if you're older. And you started a little later than everybody else. It's not too late, but you started a little later than everybody else. Just understand the fact that you're going to have to work twice as hard because you're starting twice as late. If a cat started when he was, 6, 7, 8 years old, whatever the case may be, I started when I was 12. But if a cat started that early and you're starting when you're like, way on up, you can't be passive and keep looking for scapegoats by saying, well, I need a lesson where you're doing this and I need you to do, no. You need to practice. You need to practice and you need to get a move on. I know this is some tough stuff from some people, but I'm just telling you the truth. It's some things that you're going to have to do if you really want to accomplish this goal and your dream is to play and you had a rough childhood and rough life and you had a bad start and you was dealt a bad hand, but now things have finally evened out. That's great. And I'm super happy for you. But now you got to get a move on. You got to get a move on. You don't have no time to waste. You can't sit around watching the news at 6 and sit there and talk about the news after it goes off to 8 o'clock. That's 2 hours you could have been practicing. You didn't need to watch that. Trust me, you're going to find out. If it's something that you need to know, somebody going to let you know, especially with social media, especially with relatives. If it's something that you really needed to know, you're going to find it out. I turned off cable at my house. This is around the same time I turned off my landline because that was pointless. Like, why am I paying this bill for a landline? Nobody ever calls my house. At least nobody I want to talk to. So why am I paying for this? So, I turned it off, and I also turned off cable because I started realizing this probably had to be about, this has been a minute ago now. It's probably been at least 6 years, right at 6 years that we turned off like cable. Just regular, all of the channels and all that stuff, because I realized how much time I was wasting watching TV. And granted, once I really started on this journey, because it was, I don't want to give this illusion like, man, I've kind of been doing certain things all my life. No, it was a process. When I really started working on this self-development thing about 10 years ago, it was a slow process working on the self-development thing and really developing my mind. When I say self-development, reading and studying and trying to improve the way I think. So some of the stuff that I'm sharing with you guys, I can actually back up what I'm talking about. But one of the things, so I'm gonna have to lay off Netflix and Hulu. I'm coming down y'all street. But one of the things, about it is I started realizing as I really got to developing myself, I'm like, I ain't even really watching TV like that. My wife don't even really watch TV. I mean, she was watching HGTV, home improvement stuff, that kind of thing. And me, you know, I had my I was on this binge of what was it, TNT, all these crazy shows that was coming on TNT and that kind of thing, maybe TBS. And I was a really huge History Channel, Discovery Channel. That's where I spent my time and all that kind of stuff. So I started realizing where my time was going, and I started cutting out a lot of that because I know I needed to get some other things done. And so as I started doing that, I'm like, wait a minute, I ain't even watching TV like that. The only time we watch TV is when we get ready to go to sleep. And I'm paying such and such a month for this? Nah, we not doing that. Nah, we X that off. So we cut the TV off because anything I want to see, I can see it on YouTube anyway, or you know, I still watch it on Amazon or something like that. And I'm not telling you guys to go cut off your memberships from all these different places, Netflix and all this. I think nothing's wrong with that, but moderation. You have to be aware of how much time you're actually giving to these things. When you start on your binge or you start on your soapbox about how much time you don't have, all right, well, let's go through your day. Since you don't have that much time, let's go through your day. Let's start with what time you get up. Crickets. All right, so what time you get up? You get up at, all right, what time you got to be at work? I got to be at work at 8 o'clock. I got to be at work at 7 o'clock. What time you up? I'm up at 5 o'clock because I know I got an hour to drive. I got an hour to get ready. All right, so maybe you need to get up at 4. Or stay up an extra hour at night. If you're not willing to get up early or stay up an extra hour, that means something in your day that you're doing is taking your time. You need to cut it out. Point blank. You need to kill it. You need to let it go because this is stealing, this is robbing hours from your day. So if you're having lessons with people from week to week, if you're having a lesson with me from week to week, and I've required you to do at least 10 hours, and we get back a whole week later, and you barely got an hour in, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. That means you're not serious about what it is you're trying to accomplish. That means you're talking. It's what I call convention talking. What I mean by convention talking is the people that you meet at church. You know, you go to these different events, conventions or whatever. Yeah, Doc, we got to get up, man. We got to make some music. We got to do this. We got to get together. We got to make this happen. I call that convention talking because you know that you're not serious about what you're saying. It sounds good in the moment, or those people that I run into. Oh man, I've been meaning to call you, man. Yeah, you haven't been meaning to call me. You know good and well you weren't thinking about calling me until you saw me now, and you don't have anything else to say in this moment. So now you're gonna say, I've been meaning to call you. No, you haven't, and it's okay. Cause I ain't been thinking about calling you either. Cause it's cool. We good. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to fake the funk. So it's the same thing concerning your goals, your playing, what it is you're trying to do. Be honest with yourself and just tell the truth. I've been meaning to practice. No, you haven't. You looked at that bass 17 times and didn't walk towards it. So you knew you didn't mean to practice. In your mind, it sounded good. It sounded good. It sounded like a good idea. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get my bass out. I'm gonna do whatever. Because here's the thing. What we want to do, we will find a way to get that done. Me personally, if I have these random cravings, my wife be laughing at me. I have these random cravings that I want, like a pound cake and some and I hope I don't get nobody in trouble, but a pound cake and some vanilla ice cream, something random like that, or apple pie or something like that, or some chocolate chip cookies. No, I can't have that many sweets. Oh, but I have a craving for it every now and again, and I gotta get up. I'll leave the house and go to the grocery store at that moment when I have the craving, because I got to have it. I got to have it. It becomes top priority for me. Don't matter what I had going on. I'm gonna make some time, man. I sure got a craving for some Chinese food right now. And so I go and find a Chinese restaurant. They gotta cook the food. I gotta drive up there. So I just gave away that time because I wanted it bad enough that I made it a priority. I spent my gas, I spent my money, I spent my time, and I satisfied that need for what I wanted. The problem is, while you're not growing, you don't really want it. You kind of want it. You kind of want to be better. And I ain't trying to offend you guys that are really working hard and you're getting frustrated practicing. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to them jokers that you know that you're not trying as hard as you could try. And then some of y'all have a nerve to get on social media or on YouTube and go off on people like myself who are teaching you, trying to tell us what we need to do to help you. No, because because if I was real petty, I would get in the comments with some of y'all and be like, no, you need to practice. You ain't even practicing. That's what's going on. You ain't practicing. You blaming me. You're not putting in the work. But I'm not going to do that. Not going to do y'all like that. But I'm just, hopefully y'all know I'm playing. But the point is, if you really want it, you got to get up and do something about it. And drop your pride. Get with somebody. Good morning to you. I see the other comments. I'm going to come back. Drop the pride. Get with a mentor. Get with somebody that can help move you forward. If you don't have money, I get people that hit me up all the time wanting me to help them grow in their bass playing and that kind of thing. And it's flattering in one sense, and in another sense, it's kind of insulting. The reason why I say it's insulting, because for me, I've put out tons of free content right here on YouTube. Tons of videos. Way more than I had access to when I was learning. Way more stuff. If I had access to 1/10 of the lessons that I put out on YouTube when I was trying to grow, I would probably be so much further along in my own playing right now. I'm sorry, guys, getting a lot of notifications. I'll probably be so much further along in my playing if I had access to 1/10 of the information. Now, all these years later, YouTube is flooded with information. And if that's not enough, people like myself and others have created websites catered to helping you grow at super affordable rates. And if you don't like me and the way I teach, it's cool. It's other people out there. But there's no excuse for you not growing. So comment in my DMs or whatever, I can't do this and I can't do that, and I want you to help me grow, and I want you to do this, and I've even had people go as far as tell me, I need you to give me your bass. I was like, yo, really? Yeah, they're like, I need you to give me your bass because I don't have a bass. But you have a phone. You have an iPhone. You have something that you can get on social media and post selfies. When I go to your page, because when people ask me stuff like that, sometimes I'll check their stuff out. You're posting pictures, you're posing, you got 100 pictures of you taking glamour shots, basically, and selfies, and you clean on every one of those pictures. How much did those clothes cost you? Come on, let's get real. How much did those clothes cost you? I don't wear expensive clothes, but you wear a lot of them. All that stuff ain't coming from the thrift store. I know that. You can go to Easy Pawn and Gone or somewhere and find a bass for $75, $100, $150, whatever you got to do to get started. I did not start out on expensive instruments. I started out on what we could play. I think some of that stuff come from pawn shops. Some of it came from payments through musicians' friends catalog or whatever the case may be. At this point, my point is there is no excuse. And I know this is probably not the nicest grooves of motivation that I've done, but I'm just telling y'all the truth. At this point, there's no excuse for growth. It's a possibility you don't know what you need. So don't reject the help you need when it comes. Oftentimes what we need doesn't come in the form of what we would want, but is exactly what you need. Correction doesn't come in the form always of what we want. Most of my lessons that I learned about being a man, being an entrepreneur, being a provider for my family, and all these things that I'm doing now, I'm able to live off of what I'm doing with my own hands and not working from somebody else. It came through a whole bunch of heartache, a whole bunch of letdowns, a whole bunch of disappointments, a whole bunch of nights crying, a whole bunch of mornings crying, a whole bunch of things that I felt like a failure in over and over and over again until I figured out how to make certain things work. And that's when I started growing, not from somebody adjusting something because I was uncomfortable. All right, I'm going to read some comments. Let's go back. Let's go back. Y'all got me fired up here. All right. So I see some ouch. I see some facts. ACG Design says, man, Netflix will eat all of your time up. Yes, sure will. I know. So true. Got rid of our TV stations as we found it was a waste of money and time. Just need to drop Netflix. You know what I'm saying? That's up to you what you decide to do. It's about moderation. There's nothing wrong with Netflix, but it's about moderation. You can't spend all day on the TV and expect to be productive. Tiffany says, serious teaching right now. Keep it real. Booker T is so true. So true. This is so good. Inspired every time. Thank y'all. Thomas, appreciate that. Let's see here. You are brutally straightforward. You are brutally straightforward. I'm having to tell the truth, y'all. Raphael, good morning to you. I think I've already said that wrong. I played trombone 50 years ago and I had some basic knowledge of music. Started learning bass in 2016. The most important thing folks need to get from this is practice. Thank you for your time, man. Thank you for that, Ronald. I appreciate that. Thank you for your dedication to music all these years. Oh my God, you're preaching. You got to practice and be serious. Absolutely. You're correct. This is great time to learn because of all the free resources. You gotta access everything that you can get right now. If you can't afford it, there's plenty of stuff out there free. If you want to take it up a notch, jump on some of these lessons. Jump on some of this one-on-one time. I'm doing coaching. I made it where I can access more and more students with the like my different plans that I got on my website. But you know, you can go to the website and check that out. But yeah. And people like myself are willing to help you. But what we're not willing to do is waste our time. At least me. I can't speak for everybody. What I'm not willing to do is waste my time. I'm willing, if I have a person that's hungry and who's honest about where they are and they're trying to grow and I see the work, I'm more than happy to meet with you every week or every once a month. But if I see you're not hungry, that's a waste of my time. I got other things I got to do. So that's the thing about people helping you and mentoring you. Some people will mentor you for free, but you have to make it worth their time because they have to see the equal trade-off in terms of the exchange of value, what they're giving you versus what you're giving them. So there has to be a trade-off. All right. Let's see here. So keep it 100. So true. I wish I had been able to access what I can now when I had started all those years ago. Man, don't we all? Charles, good morning to you. Truth is what it is. We can either say amen or I'll just keep bringing those facts. Absolutely. So, but no crown without a cross. Listen, absolutely. I'm on here late. Like the sound. I made it on time. Sound like I made it on time. Yeah, you made it on time. You're right on time. Keep it coming. Great words. That makes two of us floppy. Facts. This is how you fuss at your kids, huh? Yeah, my kids get it. Y'all on here, so you know my kids get it. I expect excellence from my kids. And why not, you know? I'm not super hard, super strict. I don't think we are. I don't think me and my wife are. But I see so much potential in them. And I'm not going to risk the chance. If there's a cliff coming up, and I know that you have the potential to either jump over it or turn around and go the other way, why would I be passive about saving your life? There's a cliff. Stop. You can't make it over that. So you need to go a different direction. But the problem is, so many of us have gotten comfortable and easily offended. We don't want people to tell us to stop. We'd rather go off the cliff and complain that nobody said anything about it. Nah, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you, it's a cliff coming up and you're about to go off of it. So you need to turn around. Turn around. And I'm definitely, when it's my own seed, it's my own blood. It's like, absolutely. I'm definitely not going to let them, they're going to have to live their own life, make their own mistakes, bump their head. But if I can, there's no way I will get on here and share all of this with all of these different people and not share even more with my own kids. Get out of here. Come on now. Let's see. Just getting on here, but that's dope. Brandon, appreciate you. Booker T, you're a preaching brother. We can start the collection play. Come on here. Go ahead and start the collection. Thanks for the advice. Taking electric lessons, the trade-off concept was important to me to hear. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is good information. I love, honestly, spend time preparing. I also sacrifice every Saturday practicing with our church band. However, I'm at a stagnant place What do I do with this? Nicole, you say you're at a stagnant place. Find what inspired you to start. Get back to that. Get back to that. Sometimes we can become so burnt out with um, things that I don't want to say ministry, but we can become so burnt out with the mundane, with the stuff being the same, with feeling like we're giving and not receiving um, to the full extent of what we're giving. You get burnt out. You have to go back to the original source of why you started to do what you do. Find some creative outlet that allows you to get back to that original place. It's not enough to go back and just listen to certain things that, well, I heard such and such and they inspired me to learn. No, you have to find a creative outlet where you're giving, where you're being able to give. I don't know if it will come from teaching or helping somebody else that's coming up. You have some skills. If you're playing a little bit, you have some skills that you could pass along to somebody else. To me, that's the thing that keeps me hungry, keeps me growing, because when I find somebody else that's hungry coming up under me, and or even you guys, when I share lessons and stuff like that, I have to dig. I have to dig and find stuff, and as I'm digging, I find, oh, I didn't even know that, or I forgot all about this when I learned this years ago. Oh, I can use this way. And so you start finding stuff and the world starts opening up to you, because these are things you start looking for in efforts to help somebody, in efforts to pour back into somebody else. When you feel yourself being stagnant, start pouring. That means you're constipated. You need to get rid of something. I'm saying. So start pouring, start giving something away. Find somebody who needs some encouragement. Even if it ain't in your playing, if it's in some other area. When you start giving, you start pouring into other people, then that vessel that you have now becomes, it gets room to have something else added to it. But when most of us get full of stuff, we don't give it out, and we're just frustrated, you're constipated. You need to get rid of something. You need to sorry for my terminology, but hey, that's all I got. You need to get rid of something that you have. And once you begin to get rid of that, you'll be filled back with the things that you need. All right. Let's go back here. Derek Bennett is also a decent dude. Yeah, he is. I don't really know Derek really personally. I've talked to him through social media a few times. And what I know, and what I've seen from him, he's a cool dude. Thank you for your wisdom. Find some creative outlet to get inspired. Absolutely. Jesse and Sobin, I see you. Thank you, Bishop, all the way from the UK. Thank y'all, man. Thank you, Jesse, for watching. I hit a point a few years ago where I felt stagnant and looked at giving up on bass. I was fortunate to meet Norm Stockman. Okay, I know about Norm while he was over in the UK, and just chatting with him helped me get motivated. Absolutely. You got to find people that, getting back to that, no problem, Nicole, getting back to that, you got to find people who are fired up about what it is they're doing. This is one of the reasons I do grooves and motivation on Tuesday morning, because I understand that we all get to that place in our journey. And I'm not just gonna say playing, but in our journey where we just kind of get, I'm over it. You know what I'm saying? And I want to be able to give you the tools and the resources that you need and the necessary motivation to keep going. I don't have it all figured out. My career is not where I want it to be right now. You know what I'm saying? And so I want to make sure that I'm giving you the things that you need. And don't let that be, I don't want that to sound like, well, my career is just so terrible. No, I enjoy where I am in my career. But I know that there's a higher place for me to go. But while I'm going there, I'm running with enthusiasm. I'm excited about where I'm going. I'm excited about where it's headed. Do I know the complete end result? No. I know visually or in my my dream and my goals where I want it to go. And so I'm running to it with enthusiasm, having the hope that I'm going to get there, and trying to pull as many people along the way and inspire and encourage as many people along the way as I'm running towards it. I don't know what it looks like, but I'm going to run with enthusiasm. So I encourage you to do the same thing. All right. Ronald says, I knew a good pianist who said about soloing, if you can't sing it, no matter how badly, you can't play it. Yeah. Well, no. You said okay, I got what you said. If you can sing it, no matter how badly, you can play it. Yeah. Or the opposite or whatever. I got what you said. Point being. Yeah. If you can sing it, you can play it. You can sing it, you can play it. And I heard that many years ago. So yeah, guys, I just want to share that with you. Do you know what you need? Do you? That's a rhetorical question. But if not, get the help you need. Get the help you need. Seek out that extra help and do the work. Do the work. I'm not going to recap this whole thing. Y'all got it. Listen, before I jump off of here, you see it. You see what I'm wearing. We got some new merchandise available on the website. You can go to the website. As merchandise below this video as well. But if you want to find this particular one, go to the website and look under, let's see here, I always forget this. Go to the website, there's a tab that says merchandise, and go down to extras. Once you get to the website, go to extras, and you'll see my store with all of these different designs. There's the logo there on the back as well. So if you follow me on social media, you already saw this. Super happy about the zip up hoodie, if you will. If you like it, go get you one. It's available on the website. Other designs with this particular logo, other clothes, rather apparel with this logo. So if you want some of that, by all means, go and grab it. It's cold. You can still rock this and you know, workout clothes, whatever you want to do. So let's see here. Have to say thank you for your inspiring words of plan. I've learned so much on improvisation since watching your Tuesday shows, man. Thank you for watching, for everybody that joins me, for all of y'all that hit that like button. I thank y'all, man. Go and even it out. Somebody going to knock it up to 30. And y'all going to even this thing out all the way. But anyway, thank y'all so much for, he said, ordering your book on Audible. Looking forward to listen. Oh, yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. Also, I posted something this morning. Charles Ray, thank you, man. I posted something this morning. It was an excerpt from a interview that I did about the book with it's the Bass podcast. What's the name? I'm doing terrible with remembering the name of stuff this morning, y'all. I do apologize. But yeah, I posted a video this morning about becoming more disciplined. I did the School of Bass podcast. Is what I did the interview. If you want to go back and check out that interview, I talk about some stuff with my good friend Saurabh from India, my new friend rather, that I just met, and we did this interview, School of Bass podcast. I posted an excerpt on, and I'll be posting some more. But if you want to go ahead and watch the whole interview, be sure to go and watch that School of Bass podcast. It's here on YouTube. Just type my name in School of Bass, and you should find it. But anywho, grab this book if you hadn't already. It is available on Audible. It's available on Kindle. You can get it's a very, very short read, practical. I talk about this every week. I have to remind y'all about it because I know we have new people every week. So if you already have the book, thank you so much. And I forgot to tell y'all, man, thank y'all for the people, the ones of you who given the Amazon reviews about the book. I really, really appreciate it. Whether you just rated it or you just gave a good review, I thank you for that. It really helps me when people are looking at the book and they don't know me or know anything about me and they're wondering about this book and they see your review. It's really helpful to me, and I really, really appreciate y'all for doing that. The ones of you who are watching who have purchased this book, some of y'all guys have purchased the signed copy, and you came back and purchased another signed copy for a friend, and I appreciate that kind of stuff from you all. Thank you, Jermaine. This is Jesse. Thank you, Jermaine, for the real encouragement. I am so glad to hear your message. I'm going to get a copy. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Again, it's a super easy read, some practical things you can do. The book is called 10 Ways to Success for the Working Musician. Some practical things you can do, or at least to start the thought process. My friend from India, as we were doing the interview, one of the things he mentioned, something that I mentioned in the book about creating your own gig or that kind of thing, he and his partner took that concept and started doing the same thing in India. I had no idea when I wrote that people from India were going to be affected by some of the things that I was saying. So don't let them beat you and you're right here or you're somewhere close. He took the same concept that I did and started creating some of his own gigs. So I was very, very happy to hear that these principles are working, and not just working for people in the States, but working for people all around the world. So grab your copy of that book if you haven't already. Grab your merchandise if you haven't already. If you're not a monthly member, you probably missing out. I'm just going to tell you. Probably missing out. Tons of lessons, almost 200 lessons there now in my catalog of lessons available for you guys. I already talked about it. You need some help, and get the help you need, that kind of thing. Anyway, we ain't gonna beat a dead horse. Thank y'all so much for watching and joining with me for Grooves and Motivation this morning. Jermaine Morgan again, and this is my channel. If you're not subscribed, press that subscribe button, hit the bell notification, y'all. We are moving on up. This channel is growing and growing by leaps and bounds, and I'm thankful to God for it, thankful to you for helping it grow. And let's keep pushing this thing. I want to get to 40K. I want to do something special when I get to 40K. So thank y'all in advance. And I'll see y'all on the next video. Go grab the backing track that I posted yesterday, and there's more content coming for you. All right, I'm out. Good morning. Peace.